Welcome to Hood. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you nothing. I'd appreciate it. Hey, look, man. Now we know why Roelly wanted Errol Spence so bad. Y'all remember that, don't you? Oh no! Everybody said Roelly Romero was delusional. How dare he calls out Errol Spence? Right? I know y'all remember that. It was unclear to just how serious he was, but Roelly Romero was serious as a heart attack. And he said, "I'll go up and fight Spence, no problem." He was calling Errol Spence all kind of names. He wanted to fight him, and he never stopped calling for that fight. But this is my thing, right? When he started to talk about fighting Errol Spence, and instead of having a rematch with Gervonta Davis, he was adamant that he could knock him out. And there are a lot of people, right? There are a lot of people who maybe they just didn't take him serious because he's kind of clownish. But let me tell you this: let's say Roelly Romero would have been the one in the ring fighting Errol Spence instead of Terrence Crawford. Right now, we're just having a conversation. For those of you who are cussing at your television, your computer screen right now, or who may be watching this on YouTube on your little Roku or smart device, right? You telling me that Roelly Romero wouldn't have had a chance to knock out Errol Spence? Because you know Roelly Romero has that quirky style. If Errol Spence would have come in there fighting him the way he fought Terrence Crawford, you telling me Roelly wouldn't have had a chance to land something? Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying Roelly be. I'm not at all saying Roelly is Terrence Crawford. But what I'm saying is that Errol Spence, I'd have to give Roelly a chance. I'd have to give him a shot. But that drives a much bigger question, right? What is it? Because you know I like to sit here, man, and peel the layers back, right? What is it that Roelly knew? See, because I was digging, trying to find something where he may have said something about Errol Spence that I could have keyed in on to say, okay, hold on, back here on this day, Roelly said this, kind of made this questionable statement about Spence. Because this is the thing, right? Roelly Romero is in that circle, people. He's in that circle who knows what's going on with fighters. Information that we are not privy to. So maybe there's something that Roelly Romero was aware of, and as a result was trying to get to Errol Spence before Terrence Crawford, knowing that he had a good chance on getting that win. Now, Keith Thurman, of course, has called out Terrence Crawford. He wasn't really calling out Errol Spence too much. But the person who's probably been the most vocal about fighting Errol Spence, although people see him as delusional, was that Roelly Romero. And I'm telling you, Roelly talks, but he ain't, he's not stupid. Like they say a smart man can act crazy and act stupid, but a crazy man or a stupid man can't act smart. That's Roelly. But I truly believe there's so much more to everything. Now Roelly Romero, this is the thing. If you look at Roelly Romero now, what happened to him? How come this man, he fought Barroso, right? Another guy's name? Yeah, Barroso. He barely got away from that old man. He ended up getting the stoppage with a little bit of help. But then after that, just no fight at all. Nothing. Supposed to be fighting O'Hara Davis. These guys didn't even start the discussions on trying to make that fight. But what happened to him? He's supposed to be injured, supposed to be some kind of medical documentation. But what? I haven't heard anything at all about Roelly Romero. So what that tells me, now I'm making an assumption now. Roelly was trying to avert the fight with Davis, right? Hoping to land maybe an Errol Spence fight, a Ryan Garcia fight, or something much bigger. But the problem with all that is, this guy Davis, or Howard Davis, and Barroso, the guy Roelly just fought, they're supposed to be fighting. The winner of that fight is going to get a shot at Roelly before like the summer of next year. So Roelly's still in a kind of unfortunate situation if in fact he was trying to, duck Davis or duck a rematch with Barroso. Roelly's not going to, as of right now, doesn't look like he's going to get an opportunity to go in there and fight Ryan Garcia. Definitely know the Errol Spence fight will never happen. But for me, it just makes me wonder, what were the conversations happening at the water cooler, in the gym, behind closed doors, those key decision makers, where Roelly just perked up his ears and was able to get enough information for him to conclude that Errol Spence is ripe for the pickings, and that's why he was so passionate about calling him out. Because if y'all remember when he started calling him out, everybody's like, what the hell is wrong with Roelly? Romero's delusional. Nobody took him serious. Well, take him serious now, don't you? After seeing what happened with Errol Spence. These are the times where I really, really, really wonder what exactly is going on. Some people feel even that version of Errol Spence would stir-fry Roelly. They feel that he would tranquilize him. But I'm going to tell you this. Whether you think Roelly Romero was smoking that devil's lettuce or not, I think it's interesting that he just out of nowhere started pushing for that fight. Now, that being said, I'm not at all saying Roelly is Terrence Crawford. I'm not saying that I would bet money on Roelly, but that version of Errol Spence that was struggling with balance and things we saw right before the fight during during fight week, hitting the mitts and just looking a bit off and getting the ring and just reaching and making mistakes. I tell you what, if Errol Spence would have been in there fighting anybody who keeps their eyes locked in their opponent and good at counterpunching and throws hard shots, if Errol Spence would have been there reaching so recklessly like he was doing. But against Terrence Crawford's a different animal. So Errol Spence started to fight with a lot of emotion opposed to intelligence. And Crawford created that. And not everyone can create what Crawford creates. Matter of fact, I say no one. The way Crawford goes about creating things is something only Crawford can do. But nonetheless, Errol Spence has always had a bad habit of reaching. All I'm saying is, maybe Roelly Romero knew something, and if he would have gotten that ring with Errol Spence, maybe he would have had an opportunity to land that counter on an Errol Spence who had some balance issues, reaching, and just overall not being the best on that night. What a win that would have been for Roelly. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying Roelly would have beat him. I'm just saying I think Roelly would have had a chance. And I'll leave it as that. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.